This article recently created a heated debate in India's startup ecosystem. It claimed that Unacademy, which is currently India's most valued edtech startup, is in deep trouble and is up for a sale, merger or bailout. Gaurav Munjal asked people to ignore such rumors, and he also got support from other industry leaders.
Sometimes कुछ लोग कुछ मीडिया को लीक कर देते हैं. There is a publication that wrote that Unacademy is being sold.
But the thing is, this article is not false. The headline could be misleading a little, but the issues surrounding Unacademy are real. The company is going through troubled times. And Gaurav Munjal himself has accepted in a recent podcast that he has held talks with some of his competitors. And according to multiple sources quoted by many websites, Unacademy is looking for a strategic partner and get merged with it. So in this video, let's understand what's the truth behind all of this. How did Unacademy come to this situation, and what are Gaurav Munjal and the team doing to get out of it? Unacademy started as a YouTube channel all the way back in 2010. In the early days, it was just Gaurav Munjal making programming videos in his free time. And for the first 4 years, the channel was just about technical subjects until Gaurav met Roman Saini. And Roman is a very interesting person. He had cracked the toughest of 2 entrance exams in India, AIMS and UPSC Civil Services. The meeting with Roman made Gaurav aware of India's massive competitive exam preparation market. Gaurav convinced Roman to join hands with him, and in 2015, they relaunched Unacademy as a platform for test preparations. Now, Unacademy was an education company, but the founders treated it like a typical consumer tech startup. Let me explain this with an example. Let's take Uber. Today, Uber has revolutionized the entire cab hailing sector and is valued at $131 billion. But in the early days, it was not considered a good business. The company had to burn money for the first 14 years, and it was only in 2023 that the company made its first profit. And now the company is making both healthy revenue and profits. So what happened is that Uber burnt money in the early days to acquire users. This money is called as customer acquisition cost. And since Uber was such a great product and solved a major problem, customers now use it almost on a daily basis. And that's how Uber is earning back the money that it had spent in the early days. Now, as long as a company is earning more from a user than it is spending to acquire him, it's a healthy business. You can apply the same thesis to a content business like Netflix, where the company spent a massive amount of money in the early days to create good content and acquire users. But now that the habit formation has happened, users are spending money every month and the business model is now successful. Gaurav and his team applied the same hypothesis with Unacademy, and by early 2020, they had raised close to $200 million in funding. They were spending all this money to acquire new students, hoping that they would make money from them in the future. But this hypothesis did not work, and it's easy to understand why. See, online education is a low retention game, which means students come to the platform to prepare for an exam, which could be in 1 month or 6 months. And once it's done, they leave the platform and never come back. And it seems Gaurav and his team learned this lesson too late. In the first 5 years of operations, Unacademy's total revenue was 82.6 crore rupees. But they had spent 531 crore rupees, which means they had burnt almost 450 crore rupees. This madness reached to a new level during the pandemic, when the demand for online education exploded. But the thing was, this wasn't real demand, it was a temporary phenomenon. But no one wanted to understand this at the time. The founders took the inflated data of student numbers and sold a big dream to the investor, who then gave crazy amount of money as a funding to these edtech startups. Between 2020 and 2022, Indian edtech startups alone raised nearly $8 billion. And out of this, Unacademy raised $640 million. For Gaurav Munjal, pandemic was an opportunity to build a very big business. This is what he said to Shraddha Sharma of Your Story in the very early days of the pandemic.
And I can say it on record, the biggest consumer internet company in India will not be an e-commerce company, it will be an education company. I can give this in writing. India is a market which pays for high quality education.
Gaurav at this time had the vision of building an edtech ecosystem of sorts. Their first product, which was also their core business, was the test prep platform, where students came to prepare for competitive exams like JEE, NEET and UPSC Civil Services. And when the pandemic started, Gaurav started focusing on K-12 education, where Byju's was a major player. In this, Unacademy acquired companies like Mastery and Swiftlearn, both of which focused on different areas in K-12 education. The company then acquired a dozen more platforms to cover everything under EdTech. And this is how their ecosystem looked like at the end of 2021. There are companies offering various test preparations, early school tuition, skill development, and so much more. And Gaurav's vision with all this was to compete with Netflix.
We don't think we are a large company. I mean, I introduce ourselves as a very small company because our goal is Netflix now. So we are a very small company compared to them.
But as I mentioned earlier, the education business is different from other tech businesses simply because it's a low retention game. So even after spending thousands of crores of rupees to acquire these companies, Unacademy was not able to make money back from the students. This is reflected in their financials for FY21 and FY22. In the first 2 years of the pandemic, Unacademy's total revenue was 1,117 crore rupees. But their total expenses were 5,733 crore rupees, which means they burnt almost 4,600 crore rupees in just 2 years. That's a massive number. And as Unacademy was dealing with such heavy losses, the edtech sector, which had turned into a bubble during the lockdown, started facing a tough reality. Schools had reopened by now, and students who had started taking online tuition during the lockdown started going back to their offline teachers. People had realized that the real demand or the target market for Indian edtech startups was just a fraction of what it was made to be. Now, Gaurav was pretty quick to respond to this new reality. He knew he had overhired during the edtech boom, and so he started by laying off people. Unacademy was in fact one of the first startups to lay off people in early 2022. And from then to now, Unacademy has laid off more than 50% of its employees. The number is down from 6,000 to less than 3,000 now. And these laid off employees mostly included people who were working on non-core verticals. Another insight that Gaurav learned early on was that online learning has a ceiling, and so he started focusing on offline presence. Unacademy launched its first offline learning center in May 2022, and since then, the company has opened 60 plus centers in more than 40 Indian cities. Now, these are definitely moves in the right direction, but Unacademy's problems don't end here. The company has raised so much money now that it is under pressure now to keep growing at any cost. And the thing is, growing offline won't be easy. Here, Unacademy is against players like Alan and Akash, who have built a brand and reputation over decades, and have consistently delivered results, which is why parents trust them. In addition to this, offline business is a logistical nightmare. According to experts, offline coaching business takes at least 3 years to become profitable, and it depends a lot on online business. If the online business doesn't grow, it's very difficult to make the offline business work because unit and fixed costs are huge. So now, there are mainly two options for the company. The first is to sell itself or merge with a bigger education company, and the second is to take a new approach, a new product. And it seems Gaurav Munjal is doing both. In the past few months, Gaurav has held merger talks with companies like Allen, K12 Techno, and even PW. And the thing is, Gaurav does not want to do this. He just does not have any option. His online business is not making enough money, and offline expansion goes against the company's DNA, which is to use technology to solve education on scale. The other option, as I said, is to take a new approach, a new product. And this is also what Gaurav is working on. In a podcast recently, Gaurav accepted that in 2 to 3 years' time, Unacademy won't be just an edtech business, it'll be a technology company. One company that he wants to emulate is Tencent, a technology company with multiple verticals like gaming, social media, and e-commerce. In this regard, Unacademy recently launched a language learning app, which according to Gaurav is their first truly global product. And with this, Unacademy is trying to compete with products like Duolingo. In addition, Gaurav and his team are also working on few AI products, one of which is Cohesive AI, which they launched recently. Here they are using generative AI to help different kind of content creators to create text-based content. So what's evident here is that Unacademy is trying too many things and they are learning from it. It's like what Jeff Bezos says, our success at Amazon is a function of how many experiments we do per year. This is exactly what Gaurav is trying to do. Unacademy has enough money in the bank to do these experiments, but one thing is for sure, Gaurav doesn't like to give up. He has seen so many ups and downs in a decade of his entrepreneurial journey, and it places him well above others to build for the next decade. Let me know your opinion on this video in the comments. What do you think of Unacademy's journey till now? Do you think the company should go deeper on offline expansion and compete with Alan and Akash? Or should they spend more on R&D and build great technology products? Share your thoughts in the comments and I'll see you in the next one.